Hello everybody, it's Sarah, and yes, I did film this one right after I filmed my Thursday video because otherwise I won't have time to film and edit until you see this. But anyway, today's video is going to be my spring book haul. In this video, I'm going to once again share all the books that I have gotten since March. I will go through them quite quickly, not talk too much about what each of them is about, because I have a total of like 15 books, I think. Like somewhere between 10 and 15, I believe. And I just don't have the time to talk about each one in depth. And so I will just tell you what their genre is and also if I have already read them or not. I have 3 stacks right here next to me. I have 1 stack of books by authors that are completely new to me. I have 1 stack of books by authors that are not new to me, but where the books or the series are new to me. And then I have 1 stack of books by authors that are not new to me, but also where the books are sequels in series that I'm currently reading. And then I have 2 books where I technically got doubles of books that I already own. But anyway, let's get to the books and let me just go through them very quickly, just so you know what books I got in the past 3 months. First, I have The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This is the first book in the Sandsea trilogy, and this is also a debut adult high fantasy story. It is a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy. Chelsea Abdullah is, I believe, Kuwaiti American, if I remember correctly. Yes, American Kuwaiti writer. And yeah, I already read this. I finished this yesterday. Well, a few days ago as you're seeing this, but yesterday as I'm filming this, and I really enjoyed it, but you'll get to know more once I review this. Next, I have a book I'm currently reading, and that is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is a kind of fairy tale adult high fantasy, and it's not a retelling, I believe, but I wouldn't be 100% sure on that. I'm, as I said, currently reading this, really enjoying it so far, and we'll see if I'm finished by the time you see this video. Then I have The Widow Queen by Elżbieta Czaresinska. This is a translated historical fantasy from Polish. Well, it's translated from Polish. It's a historical high fantasy. And this is the last book that I still wanted to read for my international high fantasy recommendations video, kind of, not really recommendations video, but my international high fantasy video. So once I get to this, we'll see. Maybe you will finally get that video that I have promised since the beginning of 2021. But I am definitely very excited to get to this. I have not yet started it. I have it on my June TBR though, so we'll see if I'll get to it. Another book I have already read is The Sin Eater by Megan Campisi. This was one of the books that I believe last month I pulled from my general TBR jar, where I just have all the books that I at some point put onto my Goodreads TBR, so I don't forget what books I have on there, and so I could just randomly read some of those. This is historical fiction, kind of ish, set in a kind of secondary world. It's weird. It's historical fiction, but it's also not. It's hard to explain. You gotta read it. And yeah, I read it and it was okay. I didn't particularly like it, didn't particularly dislike it. Next, I have Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. This is the first book in a series that I don't know the name of, but the second book came out a few months ago, I believe. And Marlon James, if I don't remember wrong, he's a Jamaican author, and he was the first Jamaican to win the Man Booker Prize. I did not know that he actually won the Man Booker Prize. Anyway, this is adult high fantasy. I have heard some negative things about it, but most of the negative things sound more like this just was not for me type negative. And then I've heard a lot of praise for this book, so I am actually quite excited to get into this. So we'll see what I think of it once I get to it. Continuing on to the books where I got them because I know the author and I already enjoyed works by the author. First, I have Siren Queen by Nhi Vo. This is another book that I am currently reading, and I am already loving it so much. This is historical fantasy, once again, set in a kind of magical version of Hollywood. and we follow a girl, a young woman who wants to be a film star. And it's also sapphic, and as I said, I love it so far. I got this as a present from Cleo from Bemused Bookworm, and yeah, very excited to finish this. I will probably finish it tomorrow, so before you see this video actually. Another book I am currently reading is City of Dusk by Tara Sim. This is the first book in the Dark Gods series. I have read one of Tara Sim's books before, or I DNF'd one of Tara Sim's books before, one of her YA books, but I nevertheless wanted to pick up her adult debut. As I said, I am currently reading this because this was the buddy read for my book club in May. My book club is of Queens, Witches and Valkyries, and we read one adult high fantasy written by a woman or genderqueer person per month. I have, however, for June set it aside because I do have my readathon, whatever-a-thon TBR, which I am prioritizing, and so I will probably try to get to this in June still, and if not, I will pick it back up in July. Then I have Certain Dark Things by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is a neo-noir reimagining of Mexico City, but with vampires. Silvia Moreno Garcia is kind of a hit or miss author for me. However, I am hoping that I will enjoy this one by her, and this one's also on my June TBR technically, so we'll see if I'll get to it. Another book that's on my June TBR and that I will probably start once I finish the next book that I finish is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I have actually no idea what this is about. I think this is about like a mysterious house and kind of gothic something. I don't know. I don't care. I heard from a friend that it's quite good, so I picked it up and we'll see if I'll enjoy it or not. And the last sec we gotta get through before we get to the two books that I was most excited to get this year, which are the two books that are copies of books that I already have. But first we have to get through the stack that is sequels to series. First I have Kushiel's Skian and Kushiel's Mercy. I don't actually know which one comes first, but these are two books in the second Kushiel Start trilogy. This is Imriel's trilogy. It's the first and the third book in the series. I saw that these were, you know, up on the site where I usually get my books secondhand. That's why I got the first and the third one and not the second one. And yeah, this is adult high fantasy. I'm currently rereading the third book in the trilogy that comes before this, and hopefully I'll feel motivated to jump into the first book in this series, whichever it was. I believe it was Kushiel's Skian right away after that. Then I have Angel of Storms by Trudy Canavan. This is the second book in the Millennium's Rule Quartet, and this was the series that I picked from my series TBR chart for June. And yeah, very excited to continue on with the series. I can hardly remember anything from the first book, to be honest, because I read it last year, and there's a lot of books that I read last year that I don't remember what they were about. But let's hope it'll come back once I start this book. But yeah, Trudy Canavan used to be one of my favorite writers. You know, she was one of the authors that got me into high fantasy, and so yeah, very excited to continue on with this series. Then I have two of my most anticipated releases from 2022. First I have Fevered Star, which is the sequel to Black Sun and the second book in the Between Earth and Sky series by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is a pre-Columbian Americas inspired adult high fantasy series. I reread book one last month. Can't wait to get to this month, and I'm just, you know, so excited. I don't know what else to say. I'm just so excited. And the other anticipated release, of course, was The Discord of Gods by Chen Lyons. This was the fifth and last book, or is the fifth and last book in the A Chorus of Dragons series. And A Chorus of Dragons is just the queerest adult high fantasy series you can imagine. Currently one of my favorite series of all time. I loved it so much. I obviously already read this one. I read it right as I got it, and just everyone go read this series. There's nothing else I can say. And the last two books I got are very exciting. They're like so exciting. And that is that a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually now, I was in Paris with a friend. And perchance I saw that while I was in Paris, Jen Lyons and Shelley Parker-Chan had a signing in Paris in one of the, you know, fantasy bookstores there. And so I went there and I got myself French copies of She Who Became the Sun, as well as The Ruin of Kings, which is the first book in Jen Lyons' Accordance of Dragons series. I also took the English copies of both with me. Well, I took the English copy of this with me. I took the English copy of book 4 in this series with me. Sadly couldn't take all the books with me because, you know, hand luggage. But then I also decided that I had to get French copies there. I'm actually not the biggest fan of this one because it kind of looks like an arc, not gonna lie. I don't know. It just looks so empty. Also, I got this fun illustration of some of the dragons from the series. But anyway, I got it signed and yeah, I'm just very happy with this one. It was so much fun, and Jen Lyons and Shelley Parker-Chan both are just such nice people and such amazing people. And then the French edition of this one, which by the way, both of them are published by the same publisher, so why is there such a difference? But this is basically the Illumicrate edition, I believe, of She Who Became the Sun. So you have the sprayed edges, you have the shiny dragon and not the matte dragon. I believe in the usual UK version this is matte. And then you have the embossing under the dust jacket, which, you know, also the inside of the dust jacket is really, really pretty. But yeah, this one obviously I got signed as well. And it's just gonna fall over. You can't really see it because Shelley Parker-Chan signed with black. So, but yeah, I'm just very excited to have these two books signed. And then obviously also my old copies signed, but I'm too lazy to get them from my shelves. And now I actually have to leave in 5 minutes, so let me just very quickly wrap this up. Tell me what books you got in the past few months. What is your most recent purchase that you're most excited to start reading and to jump into? If you enjoyed this video, maybe think about giving me a thumbs up and also maybe subscribing. All the links to my social media as well as to my book club are in the description box down below, so go and check those out. And I hope I'll see you very soon. Bye!